and airs it out, and it's caught. First down, 40-yard line of the Bills. What a catch by Herman Moore. Acrobatically over his shoulder, a gain of 31.
Well, you called the tackle switch. Larry Tharp went to left tackle, and guess what? He pitched a no-hitter. He's on Bruce Smith, and he put his left hand out, and that's gone. That doesn't work. A good job by Mitchell sliding up. And an excellent catch by Herman Moore. Watch Herman. Gets jammed. Not running real fast. Now he takes off. Adjusts to the football.
6 receptions. The Lions all time leading receiver. A third of the completions today by Scott Mitchell. He's throwing off his back foot. Moore has another one. And Moore's to the 22-yard line. The free safety, Kurt Schultz.
And what a hit on the quarterback. Scott Mitchell may be growing up on the road. He took a shot and still made a good throw. He knew he was going to get hit right in the mouth.
Looks to be
Instant
Bruce
pressure
Smith
on him.
too, Jerry.
Watch him right in his face. Boom. Guess who? Bruce Smith playing over the guard that time. They're moving Bruce Smith around. Mitchell
with 215 yards through the air today, playing outside the Silverdome. And he's checking on the play. An audible. 3-step drop. He pumps. End zone bound for Johnny Morton. And they weren't on the same wavelength.
Oh, good call. I love it when you know what's going on. One person got the audible and one didn't. You called that one. Johnny Morton was running a different play than what Scott Mitchell was.
Plays coming down to the head coach from their offensive coordinator, Sylvester Kroom. And on the two-way, sent into Mitchell. Hunting his 20th completion. More importantly, just his 6th victory as Detroit's starting quarterback outside Pontiac. And the crowd is roaring. Again, the short drop. Herman Moore trying to strip it from him was Thomas Smith. One guy has him, and Smith's in there. Give me that ball.
And why Thomas Smith was holding up Herman Moore. Here came Gabe Northern. Gabe's going to try to knock that ball out also. Real short route, so the DB never had a drop. Thomas Smith was able to sit. And Gabe Northern came running. Gabe's brings a full load. What a great hitter Gabe Northern is for the Buffalo Bills.
Within field goal range, but Moore and the Lions as the crowd comes to its feet. What a touchdown. It's 3rd down. So they give it to Barry. And Barry finds the first down marker.
Wow.
Somehow, through the smallest of crevices, creases, falls forward for the first when it matters most.
And Gabe Northern told us in a meeting, we were talking to him, he said, this is a one-man football team. This guy can do it by himself. You saw Chris Spielman overrun it. He thought for sure that Barry was going to the flag, and he just cuts it back up inside. This whole crowd will get into this ball game down here in the red zone.
Gabe Northern in there. Bruce Smith out. Marcellus Wiley replaces him at the left tackle spot. First down. Deep in Buffalo territory. Barry spinning. There is nowhere to go. And it is the Ivy Leaguer, Marcellus Wiley, who makes a most important stop for the Bills.
Wiley playing probably because of Bruce Smith having that little knee problem, and you'll see him work right to the outside. Barry tried to bounce it. They had the double team, talking about Detroit up inside. He did not follow the double team. That's Barry. He jumped outside and ran into a guy not being blocked. The stadium is standing. Everybody has come to their feet.
9th play of this drive. Metzelar's in motion. 2 backs in. Mitchell. Johns into traffic. And it is incomplete. Buffalo thought they had intercepted it. Henry Jones diving. That might draw a flag. He slammed the ball down.
Oh, he took his helmet off. He put his helmet back on.
There's the flag.
He had the helmet off. Take the helmet off, you get a penalty.
Slammed the ball down. After the pass was ruled incomplete, took off the helmet.
Now the helmet was off for such a short time. You got to get yardage of how long the helmet's off. If you just have it off a little bit, just a yard or two. If you have it off for a lot, he did pull the helmet off because he thought he had an interception. And Henry's played a great game today.
That's unsportsmanlike conduct. That might be a first down. Here's the play again. Is it caught or not? Does Henry Jones, defensively the strong safety, have a play?
On number 20 for taking his
Boy, it looks
off
intercepted
after
there.
the flip was over. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
Jones, if not convinced that he had made the interception, was trying to sell it to the officials.
And how about who made the tackle for Detroit? Barry Sanders tackles Jones after what he thought was an interception. Big penalty, first down.
First and goal from the 7. 10th play of the drive. Barry stood up at the 5-yard line, and it was Jones who hit him.
Wow, 20 on 20. Stayed back home, had the big cutback by Barry, and number 20 on number 20 going to start off and bring it back. This is Barry, and the safety is sitting right there saying, I'm going to stay home. Here I am. Boom! What a nice tackle. Good cleanup by Gabe Northern.
80,000 Bills fans trying to play defense, the 12th man for Buffalo. Mike Compton, the left guard, 77, may have rocked on that Detroit offensive line.
Well, that's the 12th man, and you called it. When you walk into the front office of the Buffalo Bills, they have a plaque for the 12th man of this stadium, and that's this crowd. The 12th man caused that penalty, and they'll try to cause another one. Not many places you walk into, there's the 12th man in the circle of honor, and they also have him in the lobby.
Larry Tharp, the left tackle, is new.
Listen to this crowd, Paul.
Sanders on 2nd down, rudely greeted. Washington, Bruce Smith, Chris Spielman, the heart of that Buffalo defense.
Well, now there'll be a wholesale exchange. All new players because it's 3rd down. They're going to bring in all new people on defense. They're going to bring in another guy on offense. Going to bring in Tommy Boyd. And if you're sitting on the couch, it's time to stand up. If you're in Detroit, start screaming.
3 receivers. Barry the lone back. 3rd and goal. Mitchell for the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. Touchdown, Scott Mitchell. Of all Lions to score, Mitchell scrambling to pull the Lions within a point. And what might be a breakthrough performance on the road.
Well, look at Bobby Ross. Bobby Ross couldn't have been any happier with his quarterback. Bobby Ross was ecstatic about that. May make Mitchell's year. That may take Scott Mitchell to a whole new level with his teammates. Look at his teammates. Look at that.
Show me something.
Well,
defensive player over
all
there
of a sudden,
slapping.
your teammates, the guys you play with, think more of you. All of a sudden, you got a better year ahead of you.
Hanson, the all-important extra point, taking nothing for granted, is good. Less than 6 minutes away from the finish line. We are tied 13 aside as Scott Mitchell fights his way into the end zone.
What if nothing stood between you and where you needed to go? It's like that at Shell, where it's easy to pay, pump, and go. Shell, moving at the speed of life.
Dave Thomas is still looking for people who haven't tried Wendy's new fresh stuffed pitas.
Peggy Shea,
Yep.
I see here you haven't tried our pitas.
Oh, yes, I have. And they're delicious. So fresh, you know. I really like the one with chicken and ranch dressing. I also like the garden veggies. Of course, my favorite's the chicken Caesar. Now, my daughter, she loves the classic Greek.
We stuff our warm, soft pitas with fresh vegetables and tender chunks of all white meat chicken.
Must be a different Peggy Shea.
Wendy's fresh stuffed pitas. Don't be the last one to try them.
I prefer them up.
Down.
Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. All right. Let's go.
Down.
Watch Marlowe. The middle linebacker has Barry man-to-man. They're man-to-man to man-to-man. Nobody's looking back in the backfield. Watch the backer. I got Barry. I got to run. Watch the safety. I've got him. I got to run. So it's all man-to-man, and a good job by Scott Mitchell. 245-pound quarterback. Running a little bit like a fullback in here.
His very first rushing touchdown of the season, the 10th of Scott's NFL career. Eric Moulds from his 3. Makes a miss. Nice return out to the 29-yard line. This evening, we remind you, it's Game 4 of the American League Division Series between the Yankees and the Indians. 7 o'clock, join JB and the gang from Lambeau. We'll bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights. And in the pitching matchup this evening, Doc against the Bulldog. Dwight Gooden 3-0 against the Tribe this year. And Oral, brilliant in postseason play. Meanwhile, here in Buffalo, on that return there is a flag down on the artificial turf. Had only 1 turnover today. Reasonable number of penalties, but for the most part, it's been very well played.
A very well played defensive game, and I think both offenses realize you cannot make a mistake. The defenses are too good.
Personal foul after the return on number 99. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Gabe Northern for the Bills. Barry takes a breather. So between the unsportsmanlike call on Henry Jones, they kept the drive alive, set up 1st and goal, and now here Gabe Northern with the mistake. 2 major mistakes by Buffalo late in this game, and Bruce Smith in pain. As
There's Gabe.
Northern out of LSU. Andre Reed, Quinn Early, the wideouts. Thurman Thomas on the deep handoff. Cracked at the 20 by Mike Wells, number 95, in his 4th year out of Iowa.
Well, Thurman trying to follow the right guard, Jerry Ostrowski. Watch the right guard. You can tell he's cheating a little bit. He's going to pull and trap. And they slide up in there and try to follow Lonnie Johnson, the tight end, also coming. Nice design play out of that formation.
The C gun here. No huddle. Just shy of the 1st down marker. Thurman Thomas.
And Reggie Brown was close coverage on that play. The Detroit Lion outside linebacker with excellent speed. A guy that played at Texas A&I, and he was all over that route.
Scott Mitchell looking at photographs from upstairs of the offensive and defensive formations. These are pictures taken from above just to see how the Bills are playing. And that visual, Coach, I would think, gives you
He's probably looking at, even on his touchdown run, he can see why he was able to run. He can see they were all locked up man-to-man, so he knows what's going to happen down inside the 10-yard line.
Thurman looked to make his break just shy 25-yard line, and with the spot, it's close. You can't put a credit card between the tip of the ball and the 1st down marker. That's 1 link, Coach. Just 1 length right there of the chain.
Well, now the chain. Now I want to see him mark the ball when they bring it in. See, he's still sitting on the ball until they put this down. He's not allowed to move this until this goes down.
Coach, it could be past that chain length, though. Well, now the Bills will remind you with only 1 first down in this half. They led 13-3 at the break.
They had a kink in that chain there. That chain wasn't.
You saw a kink?
Yeah, I saw a kink in the chain. The old kink in the chain may be the deciding factor here.
Is there a kink in the offense? 2 tight ends, Jay Remersma, Lonnie Johnson with Tyndale and Thomas. They loaded up.
Okay, they're
short yardage.
Look at the formation. Look at all the tight ends in the ballgame.
Andre Reed on wide receiver. Play action. Now Collins is going to bootleg. He's got Tyndale for interference. And that's a first down. Got far enough in front of Luther Ellis that he could just fall down with the first.
He didn't look like he's going to earn a living running on that play.
And we were not going to take on Luther Ellis, were we?
And Collins, he started off in Pop Warner as a running back, as a tailback. In fact, the first time Collins ever threw a pass, it was a halfback pass, and everybody said, man, the way you throw, you got to go try and play quarterback.
Less than 5 minutes to go. Breaking out is Thurman Thomas. Thurman Thomas across midfield. Carrier and Colin stop him after a ramble of 24 yards.
Well, the gang tackling from Detroit did not look as crisp as what they've been playing for 2 weeks. Well, let's watch people chase him. Waltrip's trying to catch him. The two safeties are coming in there, Carrier and Colin.
And now Detroit is going to give its defense a breather. Thurman Thomas with a solid day in terms of those numbers. 350 away from the finish line. And a great football game.
The tallest mountain in North America is 20,320 feet. Cool.
If I had my way, there would be no punting on 4th down. No throwaway passes. I would never be told to slide or step out of bounds. Safeties would learn to fear my footsteps. And history books would not refer to me as a quarterback, but as a football player.
Oh, hi, honey. Am I excited about Thursday? Of course, Thursday's our anniversary.
Of course I planned a trip.
Yeah, we're taking the Orient Express to Spot in Thailand for bird watching.
Love you too. Bye.
New Visa Platinum.
Did you go to Thailand?
With a world of purchase power for the unexpected, including that trip you never thought you'd take.
This was such a surprise.
Yeah.
New Visa Platinum. It's everywhere you want to be.
All new from the network that brings you television's hardest-hitting specials. The most frightening animal attacks ever caught on tape. When Animals Attack 4, Friday at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Gut check time in Buffalo for Mike Wells and those Lion defenders with the game tied late in the 4th. Antoine Smith behind the fullback Tim Tyndale. Jay Reesmer goes to the far side. Here comes Antoine. Alternating Thurman Thomas and Antoine Smith.
And as I look at the Lions, I look at Stephen Boyd. If you look at his jersey and his pants, he's like most of the Lion defenders right now. He is soaking wet from the bottom of the number all the way down to his knees. It's 79 degrees, and they've played hard and they've hustled. And I believe they're getting a little bit tired.
Thurman stacked up. Keeps his legs churning. He's to the 40-yard line. Reggie Brown, the linebacker, had his nose in there. As the clock continues to run, and as you see in the Fox box, 3 minutes remaining in this football game. Off goes Boyd. On comes the nickel.
And you can see his pants. He's looking in there. He is soaking wet from right under 57 all the way to the top of his knees. That is all water, and that's the Lions defense. He's the heart and soul of the Lion defense. And they have spilled a lot of sweat. And look at that water. Look at right in there, Paul. Soaking wet, trying to get his breath, trying to muster up and stop this last drive. This is a 3rd down, and he's thrilled to death that Buffalo called a timeout.
That will leave the Bills with but 1 remaining and 2 and change left in this intersectional showdown.
Send your packages in 2 days with FedEx to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 days with UPS to lots of different places. You get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 to 3 days with Priority Mail to lots of different places. You get the same price. You know, $3.
So, What's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
This short timeout by the Buffalo Bills did not give Kerwin Waldrop and the rest of the Lions very long to rest.
If you're on Detroit defense, 35-yard line, you have to stop them there. That's the goal line. That's the field goal. You see this 35 for Detroit, that's the end zone. That's the end zone. You cannot let the Buffalo Bills get to the 35-yard line because they'll kick that field goal.
On third down, he throws, and it is incomplete.
Good job by Reggie Brown diving in there, getting his hand on that football.
Steve Christie's career best is 59 yards. He will not attempt one from this spot. However, it'd be a 58-yarder. Instead, the punting unit is on.
Okay, Detroit has to play punt safe. They got to play for a fake punt. If you look at the defensive scheme now, look at these people. That's not a punt return team. They're playing for anything if there was a fake. They had run in pass.
Ball bounds at the 10. Look at this. Buffalo able to down it at the 1-yard line. Eric Smedley had it come to him like a ground ball to short. He was waiting at the goal line.
What a great play by Buffalo, and that really hampers what Detroit can even try down here inside the 1-yard line.
Again, the special teams for the Bills have enjoyed a brilliant day.
Well, it's dangerous to even run here. I used to, of course, that's why I'm up here with you. I'd roll back here and I'd try to get me a big one, but that's why I'm in television now.
Cal Ripken would be proud of that stuff. Inside the 1 for Mitchell in the closed end zone. The Rolling Stones will be here in 3 days. This place will not rock any louder than it does right now.
In fact, that looked like a Rolling Stone. That punt.
Mitchell out of his own end zone. Down he goes, but he throws to Moore. Contact, no flag.
And I think that's an excellent call by Detroit. Unfortunately, Herman Moore didn't have the speed to threaten the corner, and the corner just jogged in front and cut off the route. He wasn't defending the pass. Talking about Jeff Burris, you'll see he's just cutting off the route, making Moore run over his back. Good job by the left corner, knows how to play.
Perhaps the final play before the 2-minute warning. See the timeouts remaining. Here we go to sudden death. Mitchell standing a yard deep in his own end zone. Does he throw again? Berry has to get out of there. Does he? No! Bruce Smith drops him for the safety.
Now don't forget, Buffalo gets the ball in the points. That's why this is such a big play.
Bruce Smith on one wheel stops a man with the sweetest feet in the game in his own end zone.
All the way from the backside. He was lined up as a right defensive end, chased the play behind the line. You'll see it come back to here. Here comes Bruce chasing down the line on one knee. And Phil Hansen stuffs it at the point of attack. Watch Phil Hansen at the point of attack. He stuffs it, and Bruce chases it.
At 80,000, begin the familiar cry of Bruce.
Now, if you're Detroit, even though it's a safety, now watch what I'm going to say here. This is a punter, and you got an onside kick from a punter. Detroit Lions have one chance. You can onside kick after a safety with your punter.
At just the second regular season safety recorded in Bruce Smith's Hall of Fame career.
Well, this guy right here can onside kick it. So if you're a Detroit Lion, you look at the scoreboard, do you have the guts to onside kick after a safety?
Again, it is special teams that set it up. The punt killed inside the 1-yard line.
And I like Detroit's first call. They tried to throw it downtown, but Jeff Burris, the left corner, cut off Herman Moore. And then the run, stuffed by Phil Hansen at the point of attack. In the backside chaser, Bruce Smith. He punted it away.
Jeff Burris. Again, Buffalo will enjoy excellent field position. at its own 43-yard line. Scott Kowalkowski, a veteran special teams player, hustling for the Lions. 10-yard return.
Well, if you're in Detroit, this 3 seconds is going to stop the clock the first time. Yep. And then you got the 2. So you got a chance here. This 3 seconds, that's your first time out. That saves you. Then you got second down, and then you got third down. So you got to play 3 downs of excellent football, and Buffalo's going to be 2 tight ends and 2 backs trying to hammer it at you.
Tyndale and
safety
Smith.
Blitz, safety blitz.
Antoine Smith cannot fight his way around Robert Bourget. What a fine defensive play as we arrive at the 2-minute warning. He had Reisman on one arm, made the tackle with the other. 2 minutes away in Buffalo.
Miller Lite presents.
Hi, my name's Patty Hammond, but everybody calls me Mama Blue. I'm a beautician and a Seahawk fan, so I came up with a look that works for me. Here, I'll give you the full effect. My husband loves it. And I also think it makes me pretty popular at the stadium, not to mention around the holiday season.
Everybody's gonna rock and roll. We're sending 4 cheerleaders to the Super Bowl. Participate every night. When you buy and drink Miller Lite, you could be the cheerleader we're searching for. You could be the cheerleader we're searching for.
I hit 10 golf balls in the woods. My driver's in there too. My best drive all day long was to the drive-through.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them? Build a bridge. Problem solving. You need it now in college. Learn it now in the Army Reserve.
All that you can be.
The Yankees have taken a 2-1 lead. Now they look to close out the Indians in Game 4. The American League Division Series tonight.
Detroit's Jason Hanson has made both attempts today and in fact has hit 12 in a row this season, hoping for an opportunity to win it for the Lions.
But it's Detroit defense. Detroit defense has to play man-to-man. They can't play zone. They got to shut down even a short reception and get the timeout called. Watch these people come up and play. Now he's off. I think that's a mistake.
Detroit has 2 timeouts to work with. Antoine Smith finds the gap. Antoine Smith has Westbrooks. Touchdown. A week ago against the Colts, he galloped 54 yards to win it. Now from 56 out, it's a touchdown for the rookie from Houston.
A good cutback off the trap block by Reuben Brown. Reuben Brown broke him. And we said he was a full-speed, straight-ahead runner, and he finally got that play. Young rookie. Here's the rookie from the University of Houston. Flew his mama in here today. And a great kid to talk to. You're going to love. He said, Mama, you're the reason I got any success at all. He bought her a new Lexus, got her a new car, and told her to come watch him win a football game. He won the game last week on a run very similar to that.
And Reuben Brown, too, the Pro Bowl offensive lineman, helped open a crease. And Buffalo may have just put this one away. 22-13 with 1:47 remaining. And a great effort by Mitchell today through 4 quarters may go for naught. And what has been an exceptional football game between this club from the AFC East and Detroit out of the NFC Central.
Well, one thing Detroit did, they played that good defense for the whole ball game, and then at the end they're trying to make a play to get that ball back. And when you take a chance and take your safety out of the middle of the field, if they do pop the line of scrimmage, but you got to decide, you know, if you're drowning, you're drowning. It doesn't matter if you're drowning in the Atlantic or the Pacific, you're drowning. You got to take a chance to try to save yourself.
Christie. Kicking toward Milburn, and he got all of this one. Bruce Smith coming back on after recording just the second regular season sack of his Hall of Fame Pro Bowl career. Antoine Smith, what a find he has been for Buffalo, drafting very late.
I like what we discussed before the game started, that the new Buffalo Bills would be Antoine Smith, that he would be the factor.
Now Mitchell, 80 yards away. The touchdown and a field goal to pull this one out. And he missed Barry Sanders.
And that's Scott Mitchell's probably worst throw of the ball game. Way behind Barry.
Second down 10.
And up front, the Buffalo Bills did a little trick. They're doing a little stunts and loops now, trying to break up the pass protection with tricks up front.
Incompletion stopping the clock. Scott has misfired on his last 4 passing attempts. Has to throw short again, and Barry can't hold on to it. Was it a case of velocity or trying to run before you had the football?
You got to catch that one.
Yep.
Put that ball in, you got to catch and try to get that first down.
Buffalo on the verge of improving to 3-2 on the season. And Green Bay, having beaten Tampa Bay, certainly tightened things up in the Central. Mitchell has gone down. Bruce Smith, when it matters most, over the last season plus, last year and this year, more than half of his sacks have come in the fourth quarter. It's as if he's saving himself until the game is absolutely to be decided.
Well, the real pros, the Hall of Famers, make the play when it changes the game. And that's what he does. When you can put the game away, you got to make the play.
Mitchell, 3 receivers against the blitz. And that includes Henry Jones. How sweet is this for him? He thought he had the interception that drew the flag. It set up Mitchell's touchdown. He has just put away the Detroit Lions in Orchard Park. This game has been presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the Buffalo Bills and the National Football League is prohibited. Monumentally frustrating for Scott Mitchell.
And on a 4th down, he knows you can't take a sack on a 4th down. You got to do anything you can. Put the ball up, but the blitz jumped on him so quick. They didn't get it off, and here's a touch of class by Buffalo at the 4-yard line, taking a knee.
Marv Levy, will remind you, hired Detroit's Bobby Ross 30 years ago to be an assistant for him at the College of William and Mary. Known each other for better than 3 decades. The first time, however, that they have ever faced each other as head coaches in the National Football League.
And that's probably one reason why they're taking a knee and not trying to jam a touchdown in there, not trying to cause a problem.
Next week for Bobby Ross, it's on to Tampa Bay to take on what will be the 5-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Herman Moore, Antonio London, a solid effort today. But they must play 3 of their next 4 on the road. It continues, and 80,000 on their feet celebrating the 3rd triumph this year for homestanding Buffalo over Bobby Ross and the Detroit Lions.
Final score, Buffalo 20.
Marv Levy with the 151st win of his head coaching career. So for Jerry Glanville, this is Paul Kennedy saying so long from Rich Stadium. Coming up next, our Fox studios with Kevin in Hollywood. You've been watching the NFL on Fox.
Who cares of the past or behind?
Wouldn't you love to be free? To go wherever your whims take you? Whenever you want, for any reason at all.
Drifting along with a tumbling tumbleweed.
With Southwest, you can.
You are now free to move about the country.
I've been vending Coors Light for a long time. It's who I am. At home, it's, hey, beer man, pass the peas. When the mail comes, it says, hey, beer man, you may have won $10 million. Being the beer man's a wonderful thing. People know Frost Brewed Refreshment. They're always happy to see me, and I'm recognized wherever I go.
Hey, beer man.
Hey, bobbin-head doll man. Coors Light! Coors Light! Hey! What are you doing? You gotta use it right. Give me the gun.
You got to dig deep.
You got to dig deep.
Stay back. Remember when you were 6 and we took you to McDonald's for your birthday party? All the kids, all the fun. All for you, son.
For you.
Remember that day, son? Remember when someone stole your fries, but we never found out who?
Never found out.
It was him.
Did somebody say McDonald's? Lessons you've learned. That most men don't do laundry. Because washing machines don't come with a remote control. And the only time your boss returns your phone calls is when you're not there. And happiness isn't how much you have, but your ability to enjoy what you've got.
They say life is a journey. It just so happens that a fresh Dunkin' bagel and a hot cup of our coffee can make it a much nicer journey. Now get a bagel with any cream cheese and a medium coffee for $1.99.
This daredevil skateboards off a cliff, loses consciousness, and comes to just in time to climb back up on Real TV.
Monday at 6:30 on Fox 2.
Maternity, Dr. Weiner.
Doc, we're on our way. I'm fine, but my husband's not breathing.
Tell him, breathe in, breathe out.
There's a new cellular service from Ameritech that's so clear, it's like you're there.
Another dad down in the waiting room.
Give him some air. See you soon.
Thanks, Doc.
Virtually no static or interference. ClearPath, so clear, it's like you're there.
Act now and get free nights and weekends for 6 months from Ameritech.
Ever wonder what makes a morning person? Stop by Dunkin' Donuts and find out.
And welcome back to the NASDAQ postgame with Bill Moss. This is Kevin Harlan. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Buffalo Bills beat the Detroit Lions. This Lion team is up and down. They now go to 3-3 on the season. Green Bay today beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 21-16. With that win, Green Bay now goes to 4-2. Had they lost, they'd have been 2 games, make it 3 games out of first place in the NFC Central. But they hold on, and Green Bay plays at Chicago next week. Another big upset in the making in the Meadowlands. The Dallas Cowboys trailed the New York Giants with under 2 to play, 20-17. What a game it has been for the New York Giants, who, by the way, beat the Dallas Cowboys last year in the Meadowlands. Let's send it back up to JB at Lambeau Field in Green Bay.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. The fans here in Green Bay are cheering enthusiastically. We won Dallas, but folks, let me tell you, the Packers were very fortunate to come away with the victory today, 21-16 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. James Brown along with Ronnie Lott, Howie Long. And Howie, as I talk about being lucky to come away with the victory, statistically, Tampa Bay really did dominate and showed themselves well.
Now, Tampa Bay showed a lot of courage today, not only on the field from a playing standpoint, from a statistical standpoint. Rushing yards, 217 to 60. Total yards, 371 to 230. First downs, 23 to 14. Third down conversion, 6 of 14 versus 2 of 11 for Green Bay. Total time of possession, 34-21, 25-39. One play running that broke the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back, the Gabe Wilkin interception. You take that play away, and Tampa Bay's a victor today.
And, you know, we talked about that during the pregame show, the screen play working effectively for Tampa Bay, but Green Bay did its homework on that one, Ronnie.
Yeah, they did their homework on that play, but that's a 14-point swing. When you look at that situation, Brett Favre had turned the ball over. They were able to get the ball back. Gabe Wilkins makes the interception, and then he takes it in for a touchdown. That really hurt him as a football team, but you got to say the Packers did a fantastic job today. They had a lot of players out today. They were able to step up to the plate and make things happen. Home field advantage is tough in the National Football League, but you have to say this. Parity is all the way through. There's not a great football team in the National Football League right now.
And you say there's not a dominant team, even mindful of Denver and New England being undefeated?
It's early in the season. They haven't played a lot of big people yet so far this year. This thing is totally wide open. League is watered down right now. There is no one dominant team.
Now, I know we guys have certainly given Green Bay its due in terms of coming away victorious, but a big moral victory for Tampa Bay coming back from such a deficit.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tampa Bay's got to be kicking themselves in the rear end when they go home on that plane tonight over that one play that turned the entire game around. Paul Gruber might have tipped the play a little bit early in trying to cut Gabe Wilkins. Gabe Wilkins did an outstanding job keeping his feet, then had the presence of mind to catch the ball, get north and south up the field, hurdle Trent Dilfer 77 yards for a touchdown. That's the kind of play that can turn a season around for a team and maybe break a season. But Tampa Bay did an outstanding job of hanging. They could have packed up their tents in the first half, but they didn't.
We talked so much during the pregame show. Matter of fact, Ronnie Lott did a piece on why isn't the Pack back. Ronnie, you said you wanted to see some grit, some determination. Did you see anything in the Packers' performance today that said maybe they're starting to reacquire that?
Yeah, when you get a win. Plain and simple. When you get a win in the National Football League, especially at home, playing the team that's 5-0 coming into this game, you got to say that they reestablished themselves. It's going to be important to get their guys healthy. Right now, when you don't have the help, it's hard to win in this league. So it's going to be very important for this football team to get healthy. But the second half of the season, that's where this team's going to have to show up.
Now, the second half of the season is going to be very difficult for the Green Bay Packers. The god of scheduling decided to schedule 3 of Green Bay's last 4 games on the road, and they're tough opponents. Carolina being one of them. They're also on the road at Minnesota. They're also on the road in Tampa. And I'll tell you, the thing that was on Green Bay's side last year, the turnovers, the consistent play, the health of the team. They haven't had that thus far this year. But make no mistake about it, we all look to the November game versus Dallas being the key game up here in Lambeau Field. Well, this Tampa Bay game was a playoff atmosphere game.
And believe me, not only the Dallas game, but December 7th when Tampa plays Green Bay, I can't wait. That's going to decide a lot in this division right here.
Now, I know, again, we talk so much about these young Buccaneers. Let's put it in perspective. Do you think these guys really, Howie, you dealt with the defensive line last week in your piece, the defensive players, period. Do they feel awfully good about themselves despite that one mistake? Do they feel good? Hey, we did it here at Lambeau. Yeah, Green Bay has won 22 in a row now, but hey, folks, we are for real.
Oh, I think they are for real, and I think the other thing, conversely, Tampa Bay has a relatively easy schedule in the second half of the year, so that plays well for them. To get this trip out of the way up here, albeit without a victory, but a moral victory, to get this trip out of the way and get Green Bay down in Tampa Bay later on in the year is a big plus for them.
Now, again, one of the other things we chatted about in terms of repeating, Ronnie, your squads have done that. You and Terry made a big deal about keeping the same routine that worked for you when you were successful. Do you think the Packers have heard that now? They'll try to eliminate a lot of those other distractions?
Well, I can tell you this right now, man. The one thing that you can say about this football team, they're starting to become a challenger again. They're going to fight.
Well, all right, folks. Green Bay Packers very fortunate in coming through with the victory today. Again, as Howie mentioned it, the big play, Gabe Wilkins breaking the Buccaneers back. The post-game show will continue from Hollywood after this.
In 1984, 2 computer scientists envisioned the impossible, a seamless network of computer networks. They invented the router, and Cisco Systems was born. Out of Cisco came internetworking, and now directing millions of messages a day. Their equipment makes the internet possible. Cisco will be there as web users soar to 200 million by the year 2000. Where do you learn about companies so integrated into the future? Exactly. NASDAQ.com.
I wasn't looking for love. With just a glance it happened. Love came looking for me. Get out of my way!
Dockers, khakis.
We gotta cut Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson? Absolutely.
I'll send him in.
What? Hi, Bubba. It's not that you're not good. You're too good. Is it hot? Free agent. Just throwing it out there as an idea with no meaning. Bubba. Bubba.
Not going anywhere for a while?
Master of your own destiny.
Grab a Snickers.
Those are great shower shoes. They're comfortable, they look it.
Ford Explorer when no town's big enough for the both of you. Have you driven a Ford lately?
You'll go bananas over this special. James Brown hosts the world's greatest animal outtakes, Monday at 8, 7 Central.
Welcome back to the NASDAQ postgame show. Right now, there's a thrilling end in the Meadowlands with the Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Giants. Let's take a look in. The score 20-17, the New York Giants, under a minute to play. Let's go to Dick Stockton and Matt Millen live at Giants Stadium.
Welcome to Giants Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Dick Stockton and Matt Millen in the final minute of regulation. The Giants leading the Cowboys 20-17. Dallas is out of timeouts. They have a 3rd down and 10 on their 36, needing a field goal to tie. Troy Aikman back to throw, and his pass, and it's complete.
No timeouts.
No timeouts left.
Stepford Williams was able to beat.
Gain of 15. Longest field goal by Richie Cunningham was 53 yards. And that's what the Cowboys need, 3. He's a rookie.
What they need is about 15 to 20 yards of field position. And so if you're Troy Aikman, you got to be thinking, stop the clock in 15 to 20 yards. You have 18 seconds left, so you figure you have 2 plays. Now the Giants have got to defend the sideline. You got to defend the sideline.
Cunningham has 3 field goals today, but missed one from 40 yards out. 2nd and 10. Aikman's pass, and it's caught by Bjornsson.
They got to hurry up.
20-yard line.
They got to get the offensive line
battle against the clock.
They got to set up
and spike the ball.
Spike the 4. 3, 2. Oh, he got it. He stopped it. No.
Flag is down. There's a penalty marker down.
He snapped the ball with 1 second left and downed it. And the defensive players have to make every effort to get back to the line of scrimmage. And if they don't, it's a penalty on the defense.
Here's Ed Hockley with the call. The flag went down, and the time ran out. Let's see if they got the spike down in time, or a penalty will allow them to.
Now Dallas.
The offensive right tackle was not set.
Oh, that's the game.
Therefore, there is a false start by the offense. A 10-second runoff.
That's the game.
The game is over.
And the Giants have upset the Dallas Cowboys in a thriller here at Giants Stadium.
Well, due to contractual obligations, we're not able to show you the finish of that game live in the post-game show with Dick and Matt. But what an incredible finish there as Dallas tried to come back and get something going. They came close, but without timeouts, they were in trouble.
Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. The problem with the Cowboys is what they did is they let the Giants hang around. If you let a team hang around, they had the ball for over 40 minutes offensively, the Dallas Cowboys did, as opposed to 18 minutes or close to 20 minutes for the Giants. If you let them hang around a ball game, they'll find a way to win. And defensively, that's exactly what the Giants did.
Some outstanding stories in this game. Tito Wooten returned to Troy Aikman interception, 61 yards. Dave Brown was knocked out, re-injured a muscle in his chest. I mean, a lot of things were going on for the Giants in this game, but Danny Kanell kind of righted that ship in that second half.
Danny Kanell got them going. Danny Kanell came off the bench and moved this team down the field at halftime, right before the halftime, and got them in situation to kick a field goal. The youngster came off the bench, performed well. For the Giants, though, the defense is what has been carrying them so far this season. That's the ones that's been keeping them in the game. They've been on the field a lot. John Fox is doing an excellent job with them.
And he takes the place of Mike Nolan, who, of course, became the Redskins' defensive coordinator, which we'll talk about in just a second. One more point about the Giants. No Tiki Barber, no Ike Hilliard. Rodney Hampton is injured. They start Tyrone Wheatley, his second career start today. I mean, this is a team without most of its offensive weapons, beating a Dallas team, which right now we thought had turned things around going in at 3-1.
You'd think they would, but their problems are still the red zone. They get down the red zone, and all they're getting out there is field goals, and that's what I'm saying. You let a team hang around. You have to get that extra 4 points in a touchdown. And for the Giants, you know, you're right. They lost all their starters. Ike Hilliard out. They're not getting the production out of Thomas Lewis. They're not getting it out of Tyrone Wheatley. And everyone says Dave Brown, Dave Brown, Dave Brown. If those guys were performing, Dave Brown would be better. Kanell came in, though, and moved this team.
Giants go to 3-3. Dallas falls to 3-2. And one more note, the Giants beat Dallas last year in the Meadowlands on 5 Cowboy turnovers. Now, Washington and Philadelphia, it was a must game for the Eagles, and they came out with a nice win. Detmer really looked much more calm today.
Detmer had a good game, but that's not what won him for. What won him for is rushing. They got away from the West Coast offense. John Gruden said, hey, we're going to get the ball in Ricky Waters' hands, and he did. Ricky Waters, Kevin Turner combined for 169 yards rushing today. They hammered the middle of the Washington Redskins defensive line, which is ailing. Mims is out. Lang is out. Sean Gilbert's still out with contract. They said, hey, these guys are gone. We're going to go after them, and that's what won the game down there.
Terry Allen, only 30 yards on the ground. I mean, this is a guy that the Redskins need to run the ball, and they just didn't get anything out of him.
Well, you think they would, especially with the matchup. Washington Redskins' big offensive line against the undersized line of the Philadelphia Eagles just didn't pan out for them today.
We've got all kinds of highlights coming up, all the scores, all the highlights coming up next as the NASDAQ postgame continues, live from our Fox Television studios in Hollywood.
Dick is a big football fan, and since Miller Lite is now an official beer sponsor of the NFL, Dick figures, what's football without cheerleaders? Here's Dick's idea.
Come on, give it all that you got. Now's the time to take your best shot. Everybody's gonna rock and roll. We're sending 4 cheerleaders to the Super Bowl. Participate every night. When you buy and drink Miller Lite, you could be the cheerleader we're searching for. You could be the cheerleader we're searching for. People from all over, Tampa Bay to Vancouver. You could be the cheerleader we're searching for.
It has arrived. The day when you stop listening to the tales of other lives lived and begin the odyssey that will be your story. When you find the destiny to which you were born, all you need to bring with you is your honor, your courage, and your commitment. It's your journey. Make it a good one. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
If I had my way, there would be no punting on 4th down. No throwaway passes. I would never be told to slide or step out of bounds. Safeties would learn to fear my footsteps. And history books would not refer to me as a quarterback, but as a football player.
It's good to be the fish.
Piles and piles of money. I mean, if I help somebody along the way, that's great, but mainly I'm in this for the pile.
Get to know him on Ally McBeal, Monday.
NASDAQ postgame continues from Hollywood. Kevin Harlan alongside Bill Moss. A wild ending in the Dallas Giant game. We'll get to that in a second. Our feature game today, though, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneer Green Bay Packer game, a game the Packers held on, 19th consecutive home regular season win. Bill, they haven't lost a home game to an NFC opponent in the Central Division since 1992. And, of course, it was a wild Tampa Bay scene as they go into Lambeau Field today to take on the Green Bay Packers.
The Bucs push the world champions. Trent Dilfer is picked off by Gabe Wilkins. Dilfer tries to tackle him. Wilkins leaps over him and races down the field. 77-yard touchdown for Gabe Wilkins. That was the turning point in the game. That's what won the game for the Green Bay Packers. That was Brett Favre to Antonio Freeman for a 6-yard touchdown, beating Donnie Abraham on the post. Tony Dungy not real happy, but he gets his troops fired up. Reggie White sacks Trent Dilfer. The Packers defense loomed large. Dilfer sacked 3 times today, and that interception cost them the game.
So the last unbeaten team in the NFL, the Buccaneers, fall 21-16, the final in Green Bay. Philadelphia, Washington. And, of course, a great interest to Jim Fassel and the New York Giants who took on the Cowboys.
Emmitt Smith dances behind the line before busting loose for a 21-yard gain. Led to a field goal here. Dallas went up 3-0. Then it's Dave Brown. He gets injured right here. He came into it with a sore pec muscle. He's injured here. He left the game, replaced by Danny Cannell. Troy Aikman goes back to pass. Tito Wooten in the middle of the field. Steps up, interception. He takes it 61 yards the other way for the go-ahead touchdown. New York goes on top there, 13-9, and goes up there to stay. And then it was Charles Way who takes the handoff and powers his way to the end zone for a 4-yard. But watch this play right here. That's Chad Bratzke who is circled. They snap the ball. He is offsides. He is offsides, and they call it on Eric Williams. Now, that should be offsetting penalties, and that play should be done over.
Giants have won 2 consecutive games. They take care of the Cowboys today, 20-17 in the Meadowlands. Philadelphia, coming off a tough loss last week in Minnesota, needed a win today against the Redskins.
Yeah, and here they take it by the foot. That's how you had to beat them today on the ground. Ty Detmer realized it. He takes it in for a 3-yard run, puts Philadelphia on top 7-0. They don't stop there. They give it to Ricky Waters. Ricky Waters up and over the top. He was over the top all day. That put Philadelphia on top 14-0. Gus Frerotte hooks up with Terry Allen for a 5-yard touchdown. They're back in the game at 17-10. Then Ricky Waters on the outside scored his second TD of the day. This one from 1 yard out. Turner and Waters, 169 yards rushing.
Terry Allen with only 12 carries today, 30 yards, and the Redskins are 0-13 when he has 20 carries or less. And the Detroit Lions, after beating Green Bay last week, riding high, going to Buffalo.
Todd Collins to Andre Reed, 43-yard touchdown. Todd Collins was lighting it up early and often. Scott Mitchell comes back in, tries to get Detroit back in the game. He runs in from 8 yards out, and he ties the game at 13. Then from there, it was Bruce Smith and Phil Hansen. They nailed Barry Sanders in the end zone. That puts them up 15-13 on the safety. Barry Sanders tackling the end zone. And then it's Smith on a 56-yard touchdown run. 22-13.
So the Lions go to 3-3. Buffalo goes to 3-2. And we'll have more scores, more highlights coming up as the NASDAQ postgame continues from Hollywood.
Once a single library held the knowledge of the world. Centuries later, data was still controlled by an elite few. Then Oracle freed everyone to work with databases. Today, Oracle is putting the knowledge of the world online.
It will forever change our markets and our culture.
Where do you learn about companies whose future is as limitless as our hunger to know? Exactly. NASDAQ.com.
Hi, how can I help you? What's the difference between these phones? This is analog, and this is PCS, the latest digital mobile. Oh, why, you're Sprint certified. Make a free local call and hear how clear it is.
Where's your mother?
Trying out phones.
I better go help.
George, digital PCS phones are much clearer than analog. I heard Mother from Saturn, clear as a bell.
You need a phone for that?
The new Sprint store at Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
What should Hank Hill be more worried about? Someone stealing his wife? Or someone ruining his lawn? A brand new King of the Hill, Sunday, October 19th.
It's been a long afternoon for this team.
Hey, Wayne, where'd you get the slick tailgate coffee table?
I made it, Tom. I welded some legs on an old tailgate.
Man, we should sell these babies. We could be millionaires.
Wayne and Tom do not need to play the Coca-Cola NFL Red Zone. They have no need for big screen TVs or free trips to Super Bowl 32. They invented Tailgate Coffee Table. You did not. So unless you have an idea as good as Tailgate Coffee Table, play the Coca-Cola NFL Red Zone.
Maternity, Dr. Weiner.
Doc, we're on our way. I'm fine, but my husband's not breathing.
Tell him, breathe in, breathe out.
There's a new cellular service from Ameritech that's so clear, it's like you're there.
Another dad down in the waiting room.
Give him some air.
See you soon.
Thanks, Doc.
Virtually no static or interference. ClearPath, so clear, it's like you're there.
Act now and get free nights and weekends for 6 months from Ameritech.
NASDAQ postgame continues. Kevin Harlan alongside Bill Moss. Busy day in the NFL. Green Bay's beating Tampa Bay. The Giants upsetting Dallas. Kansas City went to Miami today with a 4-1 record. They're looking for high hopes. You know, they haven't beaten the Dolphins the last 5 trips down there.
Jimmy Johnson fires up his troops again. Elvis Gerbach throws to wide open Andre Rison. He makes a great diving grab. The Spider-Man, 16-yard touchdown. Dan Marino's not going to take it. He comes firing back, tosses a 7-yard TD pass to Bernie Parmalee. Tie score, 14-14. On 4th and 3, Gerbach swings out to Marcus Allen, but Anthony Harris steps up with a big stop to preserve the win. Miami 17, KC 14. No more late-game heroics for Kansas City. Miami goes to 3-2.
Yeah, they won in overtime last week over Seattle. Baltimore led at halftime, 24-7. Bill Moss, what happened in this game?
The chin of Bill Cowher, those many faces. They'll get a team going. It was the bus. Jerome Bettis and Cordell Stewart brought them back from behind.
Jacksonville now has won 8 consecutive games in a row at home. Today they take care of Cincinnati 21-13. The Bengals, after winning their opener, have lost 4 consecutive games. Games in progress right now. The Vikings, with that powerful offense, traveling to take on the Cardinals, who have lost 3 games by a total of 10 points. Otherwise, around the NFL in late games, coast to coast, the Chargers and the Raiders. Raiders with the #1 offense, one of the top quarterbacks in Jeff George. They trail early for the Chargers 3-0. And the Jets are looking to go to 4-2, and the Colts are looking for their first win. They go in to the game today at the RCA Dome 0-4. One final game, Tennessee has taken an early 3-0 lead on Seattle. The Seahawks still trying to find themselves after the overtime loss in Kansas City last week, 20-17. So a lot of interesting games going on today. Hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you so much for joining us on this NASDAQ postgame. Coming up at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, a special night of sports here on Fox. JB and the gang are standing by at Lambeau Field to wrap up a busy day in the NFL. Plus, Chip Carey and Steve Lyons are here in studio to get us ready for Game 4 of the American League Divisional Playoffs between the New York Yankees and the Cleveland Indians. Wall-to-wall sports tonight right here on Fox. That'll do it for us. For Bill Moss, I'm Kevin Harlan. We'll see you later.
When it comes to renting a car, we believe there's only one place to go, National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Call National at 1-800-CAR-RENT.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports, home of the NFL, NHL, and Major League Baseball.
Turn it up, way up.
101 WRIF. Riff rocks. Motor City. Check out this riff. 101 WRIF.
If it rocks. It's on the riff. 101 WRIF.
It's a fully loaded citrus soda with carbos.
Keenan
got Whoopi Goldberg, John Boyd, Fran Drescher, Chris Rock, Melissa Joan Hart, and more. Next week on Keenan.
Monday night at 11:30 on Fox 2.
Well, there are the numbers. Shades of New Orleans, a last-second safety and a monster run crushes the Lions today. The Bills send them packing 22-13 at Rich Stadium. And here's how the NFC Central shapes up now. Tampa Bay right up there on top of Green Bay, just a game back now after a win over the Bucs today. The Pack at 4-2, Minnesota playing late. They sit at 3-2. The Lions, you see right there, at 3-3 in Chicago. Winless, hopeless. They play a little bit later tonight. Hi, everyone. I'm Frank Malika. Welcome to our special post-game edition of Fox 2 Football Sunday. The forever 500 Lions are winging their way back home, 3 up, 3 down, still in search of their true identity. Last week, they bounced the world champs. Today, they stumble in Buffalo. We got Eric Hipple and Dan Katowski from WWJ Radio. Will the real Lions please stand up? Who is this team? Where are they going?
You know, actually, they played a good game. I mean, there's some really good spots there. But yeah, they lost a game and it's a win-loss, win-loss. You know, if they even win like 3 in a row and then lose 3 in a row, it'd be all right.
Or 3 in a row.
Thank you. Okay, 34, 30. It seems you can take it.
At times they look like.
But it's just, it's like a win, a loss, a win, and a loss, and a win, and a loss, and it's just that roller coaster. Well, I guess that sets something out good for next week.
Well, let's talk about Dan. I think Bobby Ross, after each loss, he keeps talking about consistency. I mean, that's the key to keeping things on the grind, to keep getting better. And it seems like for every step they go forward, they fall 2 back.
I don't know, though, Frank, because in all honesty, the score's 13-all with 2 minutes to go. And if Chris Moore doesn't nail that punt back to the Lions' 1-yard line, maybe the Lions have some good field position to work with, and they can move the ball and maybe set up for, you know, some kind of a field goal. I don't think it was at that bad an effort. They're in the game the whole way.
It certainly wasn't New Orleans.
No,
it's two different games.
4 turnovers in New Orleans. They just had
offensively,
one today,
they did some really good stuff, I thought, and defensively, I thought they played pretty well as well. But you know, this came down to the special teams game. You're right.
Yeah, but it's got to hurt. You're in the ball game. It's tied up with just what, about a minute, 2 minutes to go. Boom, the safety, and then bang. That long run. It looked like, I mean, that long run, 56 yards.
Yeah.
And that's just a killer. Hold those thoughts, guys. Jennifer Hammond standing by at Rich Stadium in Buffalo, and Jen, I guess locker room duty. Not much fun on this one either, huh?
No, it's not much fun anytime they lose, let alone on the road. The team obviously packing up, trying to put this one behind and get on with their schedule. But it was a very tough loss for them today, especially the way that they had to watch it come down to, like you said, within the 2-minute mark. And then that safety was absolutely huge. Bobby Ross was questioned about that play, and he said, I don't know what else you're going to do. I mean, Barry is the bread and butter of this team and of the offense. He had a 100-yard-plus day today. And typically, in most situations, Barry is able to find a hole or get through, but he just didn't get it that time. And it's ironic that Bruce Smith was actually the one that took him down. He had a very long day. He was hobbled by a knee injury. He actually went off at one point, got a shot of cortisone at the half, and then came back, saved the game, and made that gigantic play for the Bills. Also, that play by Antoine Smith, the rookie running back, 54 yards. I mean, he has absolutely been sensational for this team, and that looked actually identical to a play that he sealed the victory over the Colts with. So the Bills are a great team when they face adversity, and the Lions actually still have to prove their colors as a team that can come back, stick in it, and actually pull off a win when trailing.
Well, they're going to find out their true colors next week when they head down to Tampa Bay, that's for sure.
Hey, well, if Lions logic holds up, they should win next week.
This is true. Win, loss, win, loss. That's right.
Every other game.
Okay, Jennifer, we'll be right back to you.
All right, thanks.
Well, let's you were just bringing up that point.
Well, you know, like Bobby Ross says, what are we supposed to do in that case? You know, I'm talking about the safety play. But, you know, Barry's not the typical, you know, 2-back type of running back. You know, he'll lose as many yards as he'll gain in a given game. I don't mean total yards, but I mean as far as per play. And, you know, that's, to me, that you're that close. You get maybe a fullback play, something else like that, that just a wedge it, you know, just get a few yards so you got some breathing room.
Of course, if he gained 3 or 4 yards, we'd all be saying, hey.
Well, and I'm sure that's what Bobby was thinking of. You know, Barry's been hitting the holes very, very hard and very fast. Maybe he's hoping to break one there and also get a big opener. But
I think the play calling on that series was a little suspect. That first play, Mitchell tries to throw it long. That's not a high percentage play. And then the
Glanville
call,
loved it.
Yeah. Then the call with Barry, though, you know, he takes the ball, he's 3 yards deep in the end zone. Usually, if the hole's not there, you know he's done because he can't dive ahead for 2 yards. I thought they should have thrown to the tight end 5 yards out. maybe he gets a little room to breathe,
Kind
and
of
then
like a safe possession play. But
yeah,
but then
well,
again, then you're putting it all again on. Which I think right there it should have been like a fullback play and just kind of pound it out.
Well, why don't we take a look at some of the highlights? You cue up some of those highlights. No doubt the Lions will be staring at a lot of this come Monday morning. Now here's Mitchell right off the bat, the interception, Eric.
Yeah, you know, and this is after 2 great throws. He came into this play and just kind of lofted it up. You know, he tried to make something that really wasn't there happen.
Okay, now 3-3 game. We're in the second quarter, and Moulds with a terrific run back right here off the kickoff here. He's going to go 53 yards. Great play by Hansen there.
he almost doesn't get him, but he just lunges that hand out at the last minute, and boy, that could have been big trouble.
And Todd Collins, he's not Jim Kelly, but I'll tell you what, that's right on the money right there to Andre Reed. 43 yards, beats Harry Colin, 10-3 ball game. Now Milburn, he says, you know what, if Moulds can do it, I can do it too. An 80-yard return, but this one will get called back.
Special teams.
Our man Van Malone with an illegal block. I think he'll beg to differ tonight, but there you see it right there. And this one coming up, this hurts right here. Blocked punt. Jet, it's blocked, and this right before the half, and how that must kill momentum because they got a field goal.
Oh, it does, right, exactly, right. And they walk in now with points, and of course that hurts your emotional status.
And Bobby Ross, just a little teed off at his special teams coach right there. It's a 13-3 game, and then third quarter, they go to Barry. Barry starts rubbing it up. He goes to the left, cuts across the grain. He's going to go 39 yards all the way down to the 18-yard line. He had 100-plus yards today for the 4th straight game. And then here's a strange, bizarre play, and I'm sure Mr. Roberts will remember it for a long time. Ray Roberts, the ball just squirts free. No one's going to get on it. And Ray, what did they tell linemen? Just fall on it, right?
Look how he sets his block up. That's really good.
Well, believe it or not, that set up a field goal to make it 13-6. And then Mitchell steps up, finds Herman Moore, who had a terrific game today. 8 catches, 110 yards, down to the 40. And you got to love Mitchell here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is all guts right there. In fact, you know what? He looks so happy right here, and he's showing some emotion. We're just going to need to see for him to see.
And this is the play that killed him right now. Look at the time, less than 2, or a little over 2 minutes. Tied ball game, and the safety right there. That was your game winner, 15-13. And just to rub a little salt in the wound, this Antoine Smith guy, he's a rookie, and he's pretty good, Dan. He revs it up.
Yeah, you know, right there, you know, players are trying to grab the ball. They're trying to make something happen. They're reaching for the ball. They're not really making the tackle itself, you know. They're trying to make the turnover happen so they get the ball back. You know, the game's pretty much out of control right there. I mean, they're going to lose the game unless they make something happen.
And that happens so often when a game is real tight and time's running out. You see a guy, it's like, hey, you know.
I think the game was lost on that safety. I don't think that's just window dressing, that touchdown by Smith. I don't think the Lions were going to get any points back.
And we've already discussed that, but you were kind of surprised because you say Barry a lot of times, because he freelances a lot of times, will lose 2 or 3 on a play and then gain 10.
Right. Well, exactly, and that's what makes him so dangerous, you know, for a defense. But one thing he did do in this game as well that I watched, he's starting to set blocks up very, very good. He's starting to read the blocking holes the way that he should. And he's getting better and better at that too. So he's going to get along better and better. But still, he'll still lose a couple yards here and there. And that was a kind of a wide off tackle play. It wasn't something that was quick hitting either.
And quickly, Dan, it's the little things in football, special teams. Really, that's what it came down to today. And Buffalo was better at special teams. That although it was the defense that set up the safety, it was the punt that put it on the 1-inch.
Just the punt alone, and not just that one punt. They were getting great punts all day, lots of hang time. Milburn didn't have anywhere to return the kicks. The Lions never really had any great field position.
Okay, time.
I was going to say that's the 2 things that really, you know, you look at offensive ball control because you want to control it for field position, and the other is also the special teams play because it's field position again.
Right. Okay, stay with us. Much more from Buffalo. It's Fox 2 Football Sunday's post-game wrap-up. Up next, our play of the game. We'll be right back, so stay right there.
Fox 2 Football Sunday, brought to you by your local Jeep Eagle dealers.
Boulder Financial lends a helping hand.
We had payments going out all over the place, no control of our money at all.
We had some delinquents and some credit problems that were on our credit report.
I can't believe how easy Boulder made it for us.
They'll handle everything right over the phone.
It was perfect for us because then we were able to start doing things that we dreamed of doing.
Boulder Financial can help you with any financing need, regardless of your credit history or financial situation. Call Boulder today.
Boulder made
our life
a lot simpler.
What explains this passion? Is it physical attraction or the chance to save money? The roasted beef is very juicy. The cheddar cheese is so hot. Is that what is driving so many people wild? Or is it the fact that the Arby's melt is now just 99 cents? Sex is so much easier to figure out.
You can go anywhere and get filled up, but you can only get a 99-cent deal this good at Arby's.
In a GMC Yukon, you may welcome a little challenge. A little mountain climbing. With horsepower that leads its class, Yukon dominates the road.
Even towing feels like child's play.
GMC Yukon. Powerful, roomy, and waiting for you at your GMC dealer. See Jim Crosley, Pat Moran, Al Dietrich, or Red Holman GMC.
White lies.
I ran out of gas. You're losing a little weight.
We tell them every day.
Grown-ups need to lie.
But what if for 24 hours...
Dad couldn't tell a lie.
You know why I pulled you over? I changed lanes without signaling while running a red light and speeding!
Liar, Liar, starring Jim Carrey. Available now on home video.
My teacher tells me real beauty's on the inside.
That's just something ugly people say.
Liar, Liar. It's 1,000,000 laughs. Honest.
You're watching Fox 2 Detroit.
Okay, we're live, guys. Come on now. Welcome back. It's Fox 2 Football Sunday, our special postgame edition. Lions continue their yo-yo ways. They win one, they lose one. They lost today 22-13. And standing by at Rich Stadium in Buffalo are Jennifer Hammond with a guest. Jen?
All right, thank you very much. And Frank Melico just making reference to the yo-yo ways of the Lions, up and down one week and the next. Does it feel that way for you guys? I mean, how frustrating is it to not come away with a win today?
It's frustrating. You know, we could have put ourselves in a position where we're playing for first place next week. And, you know, I think we played hard. We never gave up. And the defense gave it that big run at the end. And, I mean, it's disappointing.
It really was a defensive battle all day long, but there were several plays where special teams came into factor. You guys had your backs to the wall with field position all afternoon, it seemed.
Yeah, I think our special teams played fairly well. The block punt, you know, I think that hurt us, put them up the extra 3 points. And, you know, without that, we scored the last time we up by 3. And, I mean, it's coulda, woulda, shoulda. You know, this is just a game of mistakes. And, you know, whoever made the least mistakes to win the game. And
Todd Collins actually didn't make too many mistakes for his team. You guys had 1 turnover. He played fairly well, but well enough to keep him in. Did he show you guys anything that you didn't know he had?
No. I mean, he played solid like we thought he would play. You know, very accurate passer. You know, we was caught off guard by the no huddle at the beginning. But other than that, you know, they basically did everything we thought they would do.
Well, another tough one awaits as you guys head to Tampa Bay next week. That obviously could be determined a must-win at this point.
You know, it's still early, but I could say, yes, it could be a must-win.
All right, we'll have a safe trip back to Detroit. Obviously, the Lions head on the road now to pick up with a Bucs team that didn't have its way today in Green Bay. So Bobby Ross is going to have to get his team back together, back on the practice field, and start focusing on another big division game down in Tampa next week. Frank?
Okay, Jennifer, thank you. Player of the game honors, guys. We had to do a little digging. And it's got to go to a Bill, and who else but the punter, Chris Moore. He pinned the Lions on that 1-foot line that turned the tide for the Bills. Here's the punt right here. Minutes to play. Moore lets loose. This one will land deep in Lion territory. Good little bounce, and bang. Right down on the 1-inch line, and, of course, that eventually led 2 plays later to the safety that pretty much determined this ball game. And special teams, once again, guys, you know, they harp on it, but it really turned the tide in this game.
A ball bounces inside the 10. Maybe it goes into the end zone, but this time it went right to the Bills player who was standing right at the goal line. Just a tough break.
Did you start to get kind of this bad feeling in your stomach, though, when you saw him on the 1-inch line with 2 minutes to go, tie game, thinking, oh, just get it out to the 7 or 8 and punt the thing and get on with this? We were talking overtime. A lot of us back in the sports office thinking, well, we're going to be here for a while, but no, sir.
Well, in fact, you know, a game like this probably is going to hurt. I'd say it hurts a little bit more than it does even having a big loss like down in New Orleans, because now you're trying to figure out, well, what happened? You know, we did a lot of things right. You know, what can we do a little bit more to win? And it's frustrating is what it boils down to. You know, here we did almost everything right, and yet we still lost the game. So, you know, where do you go from there? And unfortunately, you can point to special teams and say it was their fault. But anyway.
Yeah, Bobby was a little teed off after this, too. He went right up to the special teams coach. You know, I mean, the coach isn't in there. I mean, he certainly didn't plan on it.
Well, he could have saved himself a lot of grief if he had gotten his guys to block a punt at the end. But I'll tell you what, you know, we talk about the yo-yo. The Lions have 3 losses. 1 was to New Orleans. Everybody knows what a bad loss that was. They lost to a Tampa Bay team that's 5-1 and almost came back today in Green Bay, made that a close game. And now they lose on the road at a Buffalo Bills stadium. Buffalo's a pretty good team, and they were in the game the whole way.
Right,
I don't think it's such a catastrophe that they lost today. They played a great game. They were right in there to the end. Mitchell didn't make a lot of mistakes, and I think they've got a Good foundation to build on.
They do, but this is one they really, really wanted to win because they know they got to go down to Tampa, and with Tampa losing in Green Bay.
It really would have put them in great position.
Exactly, it would have. And now they're going to go down, and it's going to be a tough hill to overcome going down to Tampa right now.
Had they won and gone down to Tampa, knocked off Tampa, depending on what happened to Green Bay, they could have been in first place all by themselves next week. So.
And now the mindset going down to Tampa, knowing that there's a chance to lose, and now you've lost back to back. Then that's
well, according to the way this team plays, they got to win next week, right?
I forgot.
Okay, this is a loss, Bobby. We got a W right here. Well, don't go away. We've got more from Buffalo coming up. We're going to hear from head coach Bobby Ross on today's game when we come back, so stick around.
Lions Trivia, brought to you by Bell Tire. Which running back holds the record for the most rushing yards in a game against the Lions? Is it A, Walter Payton, B, Emmitt Smith, or C, O.J. Simpson? The answer after this.
Lessons you've learned. That most men don't do laundry. Because washing machines don't come with a remote control. And the only time your boss returns your phone calls is when you're not there. And happiness isn't how much you have, but your ability to enjoy what you've got.
The Senior Health Tip, brought to you by Arbor Drugs.
Forget the apple a day. A regular walk can cut the risk of hospitalization for seniors. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Zaks. In a recent study, walking a little over 30 minutes a day cut the risk of hospitalization due to heart disease by 30% among elderly men and women. Walking outdoors, in a mall, or at a gym may help your heart and alleviate depression. Check with your doctor.
The Senior Health Tip, brought to you by Arbor Drugs.
When I need to know an answer or want some extra care,
I find I'm feeling better just knowing Arbor's there.
everybody's needs are different. I want what's right for me, and I find your friendly welcome's what I'm looking for.
And I'm glad that you're my neighbor,
thinking of you at Arbor.
Maternity, Dr. Weiner.
Doc, we're on our way. I'm fine, but my husband's not breathing.
Tell him, breathe in, breathe out.
There's a new cellular service from Ameritech that's so clear, it's like you're there.
Another dad down in the waiting room.
Give him some air. See you soon.
Thanks, Doc.
Virtually no static or interference. ClearPath, so clear, it's like you're there.
Act now and get free nights and weekends for 6 months from Ameritech.
You're watching Fox 2 Detroit.